Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. A week ago exactly, an unnamed saboteur at the Supreme Court leaked a draft opinion by Justice Sam Alito explaining why Roe v. Wade ought to be overturned. Now, people went completely hysterical over it, but actually, as a legal matter, Alito's views were not especially controversial. Roe is bad law. Over the past half century, many have acknowledged that, including many pro-choice Democrats, including Joe Biden. So at this point, 49 years in, if you're an office holder who supports legal abortion, the obvious solution is to vote for legal abortion. Pass a law like they do in democracies. It's not complicated. That's how it's supposed to work. But Democrats have no interest in that. Democracy is a tiresome process, and worst of all, the outcome isn't always guaranteed. They prefer what they call direct action, not democracy. So liberal activists immediately set about threatening Supreme Court justices and then attacking Christianity. A group called Ruth Sent Us, which is named in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, posted the home addresses of every Supreme Court justice who is conservative.
What? No, you don't post the address of anyone, anywhere. This is a dangerous world still. What? Come on, man. What's that going to do?
They do this? Well, of course, to invite
What's that gonna do?
and harassment to get them to change their votes. Then Ruth sent this to practicing Catholics across the country. Quote, stuff your rosaries and your weaponized prayer. We'll be burning the Eucharist to show our disgust for the abuse Catholic churches have condoned for centuries. Now, you'd think the Biden administration might have something to say about this. It was all public. Joe Biden purports to be a Catholic.
Sheesh.
Intimidating judges, by the way, is a federal crime. But no, the Biden administration did not try and stop this. The Justice Department did nothing. In fact, from her podium at the White House, the president's publicist endorsed the coming harassment very clearly. Quote, the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people, Jen Psaki explained. So the message to Joe Biden's abortion militia could not have been clearer. Go forth and terrorize. That's the word from the White House. So that's exactly what they did. Here's the mob this weekend outside Brett Kavanaugh's house.
Wow. Wow. And Brett Kavanaugh. Okay. Silly question. And don't fuss at me for this because I was told that there's no such thing as a dumb question, but y'all gonna have to tell me right now, bro. Or sis, who is Brett Kavanaugh? I'm the worst, man. I told you. After the day, I will know who Brett Kavanaugh is, but okay.
Brett Kavanaugh is a Supreme Court justice, but he's also a man and a husband and a father. As
Okay,
you
there you
saw,
go.
He lives in a pretty normal neighborhood outside D.C., doesn't have a wall around the house, and more to the point, his two daughters are home. So imagine what it must have.
You know, Tucker Carlson, he heard what I said, man. And he said exactly what he is and everything. Well, they're around. Not only are they interrupting that gentleman's, the Supreme Court justice piece, but they are interrupting everyone who live on that street who probably don't want anything to do with that. But hey, it's like, it is what it is. No justice, no peace. Ain't gonna be no peace until we get some justice. That's
Been like inside the house if you're Brett Kavanaugh or his wife or his daughters. The people outside didn't care. The woman who organized that protest outside Kavanaugh's house lives right down the street, apparently. She's a deeply unhappy individual called Lacey Wooten Holloway. Wooten Holloway brought the mob to Kavanaugh's house for a very specific reason, not just because she was angry, which she is, but because she wants Brett Kavanaugh to change his views and support Roe v. Wade. She was intimidating a federal judge, all of them were. And once again, that's a federal crime. It could not be clearer. And yet, Lacey Wooten Holloway, who bragged about organizing this, was not arrested. She wasn't even scolded. Instead, she was rewarded. Lacey Wooten Holloway got a glowing profile in the Washington Post. So once again, in effect, our leaders in Washington sent a very clear message to the mob, as they did for BLM. Do what you want. We're on your side. It's not like you're insurrectionists. So the mob did. Look what the mob did to this Christian counseling center in Wisconsin over the weekend.
If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either. That's just part of the message outside Wisconsin Family Action here, and it continues inside the building.
Wow. If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either. So that means what? Oh my gracious, they really threatening people. That's
Part of
crazy.
the message outside Wisconsin Family Action here, and it continues inside the building.
What you're seeing around me right now, this isn't the answer to anything.
Also written in debris and glass in her office. Wisconsin Family Action President Julian Appling says the message is clear.
It's precipitated by the
Wow.
Supreme Court opinion.
They set her place on fire?
I mean, it's obvious.
Madison police say it appears someone threw a Molotov cocktail
Oh
inside the
my
building.
gracious! What are they, Italian gangsters or something? I'm talking about movies that I seen, and it was a movie called dang it, what was the name of it when they was kids, and they was beefing with another side of town. I think the little mob was beefing with some black boys on another block, and they drove through with Molotov cocktails in the car, and I think one of the joints caught the car on fire in the inside, and it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. But this is ridiculous, man. People have no consideration whatsoever. It's crazy, man.
You're not safe. Now, the Christian Counseling Center had nothing to do with Samuel Alito's opinion, of course. The Christian Counseling Center only talks to women who are pregnant and aren't sure what to do next. They don't make money doing it. They're not Planned Parenthood. They're not getting rich by giving gender-altering chemicals to your kids or committing abortion. No, they're just talking to girls who are confused and upset. Some of those girls wind up having abortions anyway, but the people at the Christian Counseling Center are trying their best to do their duty. They're not doing anything aggressive at all. But because their views are repugnant to the left, their building was firebombed. You're not safe, said the firebombers. Apparently they aren't. So how did the media cover this? Well, here's Politico, which is not even a news organization anymore. Here's how they describe this firebombing. Quote, a fire broke out Sunday at the office of an anti-abortion group in Madison, Wisconsin. Oh, a fire broke out.
That's not a fire breaking out. Somebody let that sugar honey iced tea on fire, man. That's not a fire breaking out. I think they didn't say that right.
Really? The Hill newspaper agreed. Quote, fire breaks out at Wisconsin anti-abortion group office. Oh, just broke out. According to the police chief in Madison,
oh my gosh,
quote, the arson is not considered a terrorist incident. So firebombing with Molotov cocktails, for political reasons, threats left on the wall and spray paint, definitely not terrorism. Let's call it activism, because, you know, a fire broke out. So, of course, fires will continue to break out, if that's your posture, and they are, and more. Here's surveillance footage that we obtained of an attack on the Christian nonprofit Concerned Women for America that's based in Alexandria, Virginia, right across the river from Washington. You can see a man tearing the intercom from the wall, exposing himself, and a lot more. So this just happened over the weekend in response to Sam Alito's opinion, with which Concerned Women for America had nothing to do. They had no role in it whatsoever, but because they're Christians, they were attacked. The FBI has been notified. Have arrests been made? No, it's not September. It's not January 6th. No one stopped the person who did that. No one's arrested him. And no one has stopped thugs who terrorized Sunday masses yesterday either, across the country. This was the scene at a Sunday mass in Los Angeles.
Respect us. Respect us. Respect us. As you guys want respect, we want respect too. I understand that. Get out of here. Get out of here. I do. Disrespectful. I promise you, I understand. I understand. We are with you.
So, among other things, sincerely religious people are a reviled minority at this point in the United States, and the Biden administration has made it its job, its self-described job, to protect unpopular minority groups. There's also, by the way, a federal law that makes intimidating churchgoers illegal. It's 18 U.S.C. 247, for the record. But the Biden administration has no interest in protecting this particular reviled minority. They're ignoring the whole thing. That means that churches now need armed guards to protect themselves, but those guards are also now being targeted. Watch.
Pay you to take care of people! We pay you to take care of pieces of You never do it! You never do it! We know what are you gonna do? Shoot us! Shit to the wild! That's not what they shoot us! I shut up! pussy.
So
Wow. Wow.
you'd think that churches in Texas would be safe. After all, it's Texas. But no. St. Bartholomew Catholic Church in Katy, Texas, now reports that the tabernacle was just stolen last night. Again, likely in response to the Alito opinion. And this was a scene outside the Basilica of St. Patrick's, Old Cathedral in New York City on Saturday. Watch.
What in the heck?
I'm killing the baby. Could you get away with that outside any other religious center, any other group of worshipers? Probably not. We wouldn't support it. So maybe you're starting to think this isn't actually about Roe. Maybe it's about something more than that. Maybe it's about something much darker than that. Take a look at what Democrats are doing in Congress right now if you want a sense of what their plans are. This is a real passage from a new abortion bill the Democrats are trying to get through the Congress, and we're quoting. This act is intended to protect all people.
I'm sorry. I apologize for if I'm offending anybody by showing this, man. I don't mean to. I don't mean to. And to be honest with you, I have no interest in. This is wow. People's understandings of things is just so divisive and so, I don't know. It's like it lacks thought. It lacks all understanding. It's just like, what are you doing? Oh my gracious. That lady was, they can care less. When they say it's go time, it's time to fight, they can care less if it's children out there, they can care less if what your religion is, they can care less if you're a senior citizen and you deserve more respect than that, they can care less. It's just in their mind it's go time. And I don't care who sees it, who hear me. Listen, I'm in here to fight. I'm an activist, and you about to feel the wrath of what I got to say.
With the capacity for pregnancy, cisgender women, transgender men, non-binary individuals, those who identify with a different gender, and others. So there it is. It's not really about codifying Roe, abortions for people who, quote, need them, safe, legal, and rare. It's about something much bigger than that. It's about displacing God as the great decider. Democrats now reserve the right to rewrite biology, which is to say, dominion over nature. Now they're in charge. So again, this isn't just about intimidating Supreme Court justices, 5 of them, into changing their views on Roe v. Wade. It's about attacking Christianity, because Christianity stands in their way. MSNBC just comes out and says it. Watch.
The Christian right's decades-long push to revoke abortion rights is just part of their broader agenda. Well, what else? What else do they want? What else is at stake?
This is not just about abortion. This is about a much broader set of issues that really are about a kind of white Christian right worldview.
It's very important for us to recognize that it is Christian extremism that is at the root of the shame and the stigma that allows laws like this to pass, that allows justices like this to be confirmed.
Discovered that they could manufacture and then channel their moral outrage toward abortion, creating a new litmus test for conservative politicians. References to God and Christian beliefs are often invoked in these political instances, with some saying outright that they believe America is a Christian nation.
So they're mad not really just at Alito, but at Christianity and Christians, believers, people of faith. They have been for a long time, but it's weird if you think about it. Why are liberals angry at Christianity? You wouldn't think they would be. Christianity has been the single greatest force for human rights in history. In fact, the Western understanding of human rights, our understanding of human rights, all of us, atheists included, is based on Christianity. That's where it comes from. Christianity is the reason we don't have slavery and segregation and children working in factories. Christians did that. So if you're a sincere liberal, it would seem odd to hate Christians.
Well, just from another side, there have been, and I'm telling you this from a side that I've heard many times, if it weren't for Christianity, and this is just the opinion that some people have, if it weren't for Christianity, then there wouldn't have been any slaves, because the Bible actually teaches that it's okay to have slaves and that you have to obey your master in order to be in line with God's will. That's Older Testament, that's Old Testament, but that comes with Christianity. A lot of people think that, and it can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because we don't look at things in context. We don't look at things, you know, in that time, this was the culture and this meant this. This was a part of the laws that they're putting out there, and, you know, the things that were happening then was this. And people are thinking, yeah, this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have me some slaves, and they gotta obey their master. Why? Because the good book says it. It's unfortunate we have to sully something that means so much to so many people in order to support a side. But what if that's true though? Like, every side that's presented has a little bit of truth to it, but it's all about what you fully buy into. I want y'all to do one thing that I would advise against is that we hear somebody's outlandish argument and we just completely poop on it. All it over, have a conversation and at least to try to understand where they're coming from. Because if you don't understand where they're coming from, you won't know how to communicate with them. I mean, communicate to them a better understanding. Communicate with them that middle ground, that place where both of you meet, and you can bring them over to your side with the positivity. Like, this is why this is. That is why that is. You got to understand them first. But it becomes, if you don't even attempt to understand the other side, there's never going to be a fix for anything.
But the totalitarians always do hate Christians. The Soviets killed the priests first. So did Mao. During the Spanish Civil War, the communists subjected a statue of Jesus to a symbolic execution in front of a firing squad. It was one of the first things they did within weeks of the war breaking out. Here's the picture on your screen.
Wow.
Shooting Jesus. It tells you everything. So modern liberals hate Christianity not because it's repressive, but because they are. Any religion that puts God before government is by definition a threat to their power. Most offensive of all, Christianity specifically rejects their most cherished dogma, which is racial hierarchy. The Christian message is the opposite of the equity agenda. Christianity describes a universal brotherhood of man, every person created in God's image, and therefore, for that reason, morally equal. That is gravely disempowering for the left. If all people are morally equal, you can't really divide your population by skin color. You can't really set one group against another. You can't tell one group you're better than that group, you're worse than that group. That's not allowed. So in order to allow it, you have to erase Christianity. And they've been working on it for a long time. Ever notice how they call Martin Luther King doctor but not reverend? King was not a physician, he was a Christian preacher. They'd like you to forget that. Undermining Christianity is the central project of the left because it stands in their way. As dozens of churches burned across Canada last summer, the country's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, refused to condemn the fire bombings. He called them, quote, understandable. Then the head of Canada's ACLU effectively endorsed the fire bombings. Burn it all down, she wrote. And now we're seeing it happen here, as we knew it would.
A lot to be said. I want to see what you all have to say about this in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button or the new super thanks button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video and hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. You all have been amazing. Love y'all. And make sure you use your time and your dime responsibly. See you next time.